DC48 Sunshine Seekers. Soul-touching and life-enhancing stories. Sunshine Seekers. Long time ago, on a distant planet called Urimaxa, there existed a situation which was very hard for the people to live with. For it always rained, day and night, year in year out, in their tropical rainforest. So as technology on the planet evolved, the people decided to do something about the situation. A special glass roofing was invented. Tall poles were erected, and way above the highest treetops, a roof was built over the surface of the entire planet. It took many years to finish the job, but eventually everybody was happy. Finally, the inhabitants were able to enjoy their planet without the rain constantly falling on them. They could still see the rain coming down on the glass roof, but after some time the air became more and more moist. It became damp, hot, and algae and a variety of small plants started to grow and cover the inside and outside of the glass roof. The sight of the rain disappeared. Then, because it was always dark, light poles tall as houses and small lights close to the ground were placed everywhere. There were special lights that helped plants to grow, but these lights were not strong enough for people to see up, over and above the trees. After some time, everybody forgot about the world above the trees. On top of the glass roof, the everlasting rain still gave its life to the world below. Collected in huge funnels, water was brought down through the pipes hidden inside the huge poles supporting the roof. The water coming down was collected in lakes and channeled into rivers, helping to cultivate the land. Because there was no wind, they had built special water mills running huge windmills to circulate the air, and that made it bearable to live. As the years passed, the poles supporting the roof and bringing water started to get covered with plants and blended in with the forests of trees. And as the years passed, people forgot about what rain was. They forgot about the roof and where the water was coming from. One thing they learned fast, that was that they could not have any machines that produced fumes, as the toxic fumes would stay and kill everyone, because the transportation of toxic gases going out through the supporting roof poles was not sufficient. Due to the situation, people started to adjust to living with nature, instead of being busy with man-made machines and cars. They developed a sense of living with nature. Hundreds of years later, in the history of the planet Urimaxa, there lived a brother and a sister, called Uruk and Tanya. She was 7 and he 10 years of age. Like all the other people on the planet, they didn't know about what had happened in the past. But both of them were special children. They were always outside in nature and became so sensitive that they could talk with the nature spirits and have conversations with everything standing, walking, crawling, flying, and growing. One day, talking with a huge rock, they asked, "Rock, you look so strong, as if you never go to die." "Oh," said the rock, "it looks like I could live forever, but I will disappear one day. It is called erosion, and I will slowly crumble up and disappear, but that is maybe far more in the future than what you can imagine." "There are a lot of people that suffer from stress." "But you never look like that," spoke Tanya. "No, not me. I'm pretty contented. I have a simple life and go slowly with the flow. Whatever comes around, I appreciate, and this is how I live my life," said the rock. "So," said Uruk, "you must be very old. Tell us what you have seen that is special that we do not know about." "I can tell you stories of people who have sat on me, who have eaten food on me, played on me. I've seen many people, I've seen the years passing by, and I have seen something nobody talks about anymore, something really special. I have seen something in the past which you will not believe." "What, what?" said both of the children together, and the rock said, "It is about rain." "Rain? We never heard about that word. What is that?" said Tanya. "It is like little raindrops of water that fall from the sky," said the rock. "The sky?" "Another word we do not know." "Where are these drops coming from?" asked Uruk. "It used to come from above," replied the rock. "But, rock, why is it not coming any more?" Uruk asked. "You see, years and years ago, before your great-great-grandfather, a roof was built over the entire planet, and that is why the rain cannot reach us anymore. So above this roof, which you think are plants which reflect all these shades of greens we see every day, above that there is another world, the world of rain. I need to take my nap now, children, or else I will be talking and talking." They thanked the rock for the time spent with him in the afternoon while having a picnic. They sat near an old oak tree and, because they were very impatient to know more about rain, they also started a conversation with the old oak tree. "You look pretty healthy," said Uruk to the tree, to start a conversation, "and it seems you're very old." "Yes," said the tree. "I try to drink the purest water coming from deep in the soil to feed my body, and the soil gives me good nutrients. I take care of what I take into my body, for I know if I take bad stuff, I will get older sooner." And Tanya said, "We had a conversation with a rock earlier, and it seemed that you are also very content." "Yes," said the tree. "I am very content with my life. I enjoy standing here. I am the habitat of many insects and animals, and I love observing and watching so many things passing. The beauty of it is that I do not get involved with what is happening outside. I've seen people arguing and I've seen struggle, but I do not get involved. I just observe." "Can I ask you another question?" spoke Uruk. "Sure, as many as you want," said the tree. "You see," Uruk continued, "the rock told us about rain. Can you explain that?" "For sure," said the tree. "I can still clearly remember those days. It was when rain was falling day and night, year in, year out. For me it was good, but it was very hard for the people to deal with. They made something new and created big poles and made a glass roof over the entire planet. The water they directed down by pipes to feed the land and everything growing on it. Then the glass started to get covered by plants and algae, and it is for that reason we have now light poles and windmills." The tree continued. "It was a nice feeling, those raindrops. They would fall on my leaves and would cool me down." The tree started to daydream and forgot about the children. As Tanya and Uruk walked further, they saw a small river. They said to each other, "We must ask the river, because the river is made out of water, and must know more about rain and about the world seemingly above us." As they got closer to the river, they saw some animals on the other side drinking the fresh water. Then they started their conversation. "River, we would like to answer you some questions." "Sure," the river gurgled. "What is on your mind? Just ask me." The children asked, Are you as old as the big rock and the tree?" "Yes," said the river, "I am very old. I have been flowing here for years and years, hundreds of years. My way of living is healthy. I stay fit and relax, for it is easy for me. I go with the flow. I bend where I need to bend, and I feed myself with good things. I've had some hard times in the past when people started throwing lots of garbage inside of me, but soon they figured out that they would not have fresh drinking water anymore if they continued to do so. So it was a hard time, but it didn't last too long. I do not go against anything. Me, I go always with the stream wherever it takes me." "Great," said Tanya and continued. "We'd heard from the rock and the tree that there is something that is called rain. Yes, said the river, I am made out of lots of raindrops. A long time ago it always rained, and my river was full of water, and sometimes I even overflowed when visiting the land around me. So you see, as the rock and the tree must have explained, there is a roof over the planet, and over that roof there is a world where it always rains. Rainwater is collected in huge funnels on the roof and comes down through the pipes inside the structure poles and gives me my water so I can flow and serve the people, creatures and plants. Now, I hope this was enough, kids. Time to go and feed everybody. At the end of the day, Tanya and Jurek were so curious that they wanted to see what rain looks like. How can we get up on the roof and see the rain? They said to each other. That evening, with some anxiety, they went to bed restless, and then they fell asleep. The next morning they woke up. They started searching to find these poles holding up the roof. It was not easy with everything having changed into a forest, but they were successful in finding one of the poles, and now they knew the rock, the river, and the tree were right. So, as they talked with one another, Ulrich said, there must also be poles, other poles, through which the water is coming down, and poles that carry out toxic gases. But both of those we cannot use to get up on the roof. Wait a minute, said Tanya. There must also be poles with pipes inside which brings fresh air from above. Otherwise, we would all have died a long time ago. For days and weeks they searched, and then finally they found a huge pipe looking like a tree trunk, and, after they worked hard enough to get through all the leaves growing in it, they also found an old rusted door. By hitting the door on the side with a big stone, it just fell outward on the ground. Jurek looked inside with his torchlight and saw a ladder built onto the wall. So they had to make a plan and went and made provisions, such as backpacks, self-created rain boots, raincoats, and food. Returning to the big pole, they climbed for a long time, and it was very difficult. When they rested in between, they hooked themselves on the ladder so as not to fall down. Then at last, they climbed out of an opening on the huge roof, and there it was, a world which they had never seen. Water in the form of raindrops was coming down from the sky. It was an incredible sight. It was a little dark, but as flashes of light were coming from the sky, they could see that there was also a lot of movement on top of this roof. Then they saw huge unicorns with wings, colorful swans, elves and fairies, all flying around. Why were we not told about this, they thought. After a while they started making contact with all these beautiful creatures, and a fairy asked, "Where are you coming from?" "We coming from far below under this roof, which for you is the ground under your feet. It is a roof over the world where we grow up, where our forefathers lived, a world where no rain falls," said Tanya. "Who would want to live there, in a world where there is no rain?" said the fairy. "It's okay here, but we heard of the world of rain and wanted to experience and explore it," answered Uruk. "You see," said one of the mystical creatures, "we also come from another world, where there is also no rain. We are just on a visit to enjoy the feeling of this world." So you come from a dark place, with artificial lights and windmills to keep you cool?" asked Uruk. No, answered the mystical creature. "We come from the clouds, and we have the sunshine." Again, that was something new for the children to hear. "You see," said one of the swans, "do you see all the gray stuff in the sky? These are clouds, rain clouds, and above these gray clouds there is another world of white clouds. That is where we live," said the unicorn. "And beyond that world is the world of everlasting sunshine." Sunshine is the real natural light. It always shines, but sometimes you cannot see sunshine because clouds are in front of it. "Wow," said Tanya and Ulrich. They realized that their journey had not ended by finding this place. "But why are you all here in the world of rain? Why are you not in your world of the sunshine?" "We come here to enjoy the rain, but only for short vacations. After being here for a little while, we even appreciate more the world of everlasting sunshine, and we can travel back and forth as we wish," answered the unicorn. So they enjoyed the world of everlasting rain, and made friends with all the creatures, but their curiosity pulled them now to the world of everlasting sunshine. One day they were sitting amongst their friends in one of the huts, for on top of the glass roof there was lots of greenery. Through all these years new soil had formed itself and created a jungle. Everywhere in between the green spread all out over the world where huts were made out of plants and huge leaves. "Can we go to this world where you come from?" asked Tanya. One of the creatures replied, "Sure. It is just a matter of making a choice of whose back you want to fly up. The swan, the unicorn, you can choose one of us, and each time different." The next day their next journey started. It was so incredible to fly through the rain, to reach gray clouds and fly through them, to see light, natural light they had never seen before, light coming from endless suns. They saw a world on top of the white clouds, houses and palaces made out of crystals, where all unicorns and swans and elves and fairies and beautiful angels were living. It was a fantastic world. The children asked, "But how is it possible that you can live on this thin substance? You could fall through?" "No, you have to be light of heart and not be holding on to the world below. When you don't hold on to, you become very light. Then you can live on them without falling through," answered the creature. "And what made this world to be such a paradise?" asked Uruk. And then the swan answered, "It was the hundreds of suns shining down on these clouds and creating these crystals. Yes, not one sun, but thousands of suns." As they tried to look at the suns, they had to close their eyes. It was too bright. After enjoying the sight of this paradise, they flew back down to the big roof, the world of rain, where they all enjoyed the rain again. Slowly but surely, by making more trips, their eyes started to get used to this incredible bright light. Then they discovered the incredible peace and harmony in which these creatures were living in and with. It was the light of all these suns reflecting in the crystals and white clouds. This was the most magical place in existence. After traveling many times back and forth, each time flying on different creatures, they suddenly started feeling homesick. They kept on thinking about their home world and started talking more about it. They decided that it was maybe time to go back to their own world. All the mystical creatures gathered as they heard about their friends wanting to go back to their world. "Any time you want, you come back to this world, and we will fly you up to the world of ours," spoke one of the angels. "Promise, however, to keep our world secret." Tanya and Uruk returned to their world below and continued their lives, but did not tell anybody their secret. But it didn't take too long, however, before they were missing their special friends and the two new worlds, especially the world of everlasting sunshine. So as years passed by, they made many trips to the rooftop and above, for they knew now how to get there. Then came a time that they didn't went down to the world below the roof anymore, and something extraordinary happened. The longer they were living amongst these creatures and making trips to the sunshine and getting more used to that world, wings started to grow on their back. They had become lighter and lighter, for they were holding on to less and thinking less of the world below, and so after many years they had grown full wings and were now able to live forever in the world of everlasting suns. What the story could bring us. Most of us are familiar with only one world, the world we see and walk in. However, just as there are many different worlds like in our dreams, there are many other worlds which are there awaiting for us, to be discovered and ventured into. Visiting these worlds is like visiting a world in our dreams, which we can revisit at any given time.